up everyone? Today I've got a gig vlog for you all. Tomorrow evening I'm playing my first ever fly date gig since I moved to Nashville last April. What is a fly date gig? Basically just a one-off show where the artist flies you out to the state that you're playing in, you do the show and then fly back the next day, right? So I'm playing with an artist called Ryan Montgomery tomorrow night. It's the first time I've ever played with him. I got put in touch with his manager through a mutual friend about a month ago now. And I'm excited for this show. It's going to be the first time I'm playing a headline set with about 90 minutes of music, which is definitely different for me. Most of the gigs I've done with artists out here, well, all of them so far have been like, support slots or festival slots where you're playing for 20-25 minutes max, and then by the time you get to the last song and you feel like you're warmed up, you're off stage and it's it goes by in a flash. So I'm definitely excited to get more stage time on this gig tomorrow. As I said, 90-minute set, so I've had a lot of material to learn, and I've had to buy some things to get ready for this set. For example, if I just put on my Ray-Ban glasses and turn on the camera inside these, you can see that I've got my phone in my Gator mini vault, which holds, I'll move this, a couple of guitars, right? So I'm gonna take the PRS NF53 with me as the main guitar, and then I'll take Telly as a backup just in case I break a string on stage. Right now it's the day before the gig. I'm flying out very, very early tomorrow morning. The flight is I've got two flights, one to Atlanta and then Atlanta to Greenville, South Carolina, where we'll be playing. First flight is at 5:15 a.m. So today, I've gone over everything a lot already, but today I just wanna run through the show file one more time and make sure I'm solid on the guitar parts. Yeah, I'll be waking up at about, 2 a.m. to get to the airport on time and make sure I can check the guitars and, have plenty of time to chill before the flight. I also want to talk about how I've balanced learning the music for this set, getting prepared, with my other job in music, which is online guitar instructor, right? I've been making the most comprehensive lead guitar course I've ever made in over 8 years of teaching online. It's called 80/20 Lead Guitar Mastery. Some of you watching this will already have that course. We did the pre-sale for that last month. It's currently closed off to new members right now, but once all the remaining modules are ready and added to the course, we're going to do a full launch. The plan is in September. So yeah, I've had a lot of filming to do for that this week as well. So I've been, working hard to balance that work with learning this 90-minute set. Anyway, right now I'm actually recording videos for 80/20 right now. I'm recording some new licks for the Dorian module. So I'm actually gonna put the glasses on again and I'll just record my POV so that you can see what it looks like when I'm making content from a guitar course, right? All right, so this is what it looks like when I'm recording, right? I have this little stand thing so I can easily hit record on my laptop. At the moment, I'm only filming with one camera because I'm filming licks and solos today, so I'm not doing any talking parts, so I just need one shot on the guitar fretboard. The camera is hooked up to a switcher, which, I don't really need right now because I'm only running one camera, but usually I can toggle between different camera angles, right? And then the switcher is connected to this monitor so that I can always make sure the fretboard is perfectly in focus as it is right now. And yeah, I've got some Dorian melodic minor licks to record right now, so let's go for it. All right, I just wrapped filming. That took about an hour to get 10 licks, fast and slow, all recorded. So by far, the most important part of me learning a set is doing this, walking around with my headphones and listening to the music over and over on repeat. I like to walk 10,000 steps a day. That takes me about 90 minutes each day. Right now I'm walking to the gym, and so it's very easy for me to just use this time to listen to the music that I've got to learn, you know. And as I'm doing that, I'm making mental notes of the chord progressions, the tones, the tags, which are basically like little melodic riffs and licks that are key components of the song, right? I'm just trying to listen to this music so that I know it as well as, you know, songs I've listened to for years. I'm really trying to internalize everything so that when I go back into my studio room and I actually sit down to pick up my guitars and learn the songs, it's 10 times easier because I know what the song sounds like already. I know the structure. I have some idea of what I'm going to be playing in each song and what kind of tones I'm going to be using. I can't overstate the importance of listening to the music on repeat as much as possible before you actually sit down to pick up the guitar and learn the parts, okay? Alright, so obviously just listening to the songs isn't enough to prepare. So what's the next step after listening to the music extensively? Well, what I did for this gig was I loaded the set list into a Spotify playlist, and I spent the first couple of days just sitting there with my guitar and kind of casually listening to the songs and trying to play along to them without really diving into the individual guitar parts. Now, I did this just to familiarize myself with the music even more, and I probably just went through each song very quickly a couple of times, and then after that, the day after, I would come in here, sit down with my guitar, and then I would dive into the individual guitar stems for each track, right? So I was sent, obviously, the full set list, and I was also sent individual guitar stems for each of the tracks. So those are just, what I mean by guitar stems are just the individual guitar tracks that are from the actual recordings in isolation. Well, maybe not completely in isolation. Some of the stems have vocals in them and a click to keep me in time, which is definitely helpful, but it's not a full band mix. There's not, all the backing tracks and all the bass lines and all that stuff. And having those stems is super helpful because it just allows me to dive into exactly what the guitarist played on the record, and from there I'm able to replicate that on stage. So I would spend, an hour going through the stems for one song, right? I would make sure that I was comfortable playing along to the stem tracks alone, and then once I was comfortable with that, I would go back to the full recording, like the song that you would hear on Spotify, the full mix, and then I would just play those same parts along to that just to make sure that I was solid on what I was supposed to play, right? I'll show you an example of that right now. I'm going to find stems for a song called Sun, Sand, Drink in My Hand. Let's see if I can find these. Okay, so these files were sent to me on Dropbox. So this is just what the guitar stem file sounds like.
Chorus 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Got the sand, got a nice cold drink chilling in my hand.
Verse 2, 3, 4.
So hopefully you can hear there. You're just getting that individual guitar part, not the full mix of the song, right? Okay, so right there, that's a part that I, would have to play because I got asked to play leads on this song. So I'm making a note of that as I'm listening to it. Coming into the chorus.
Chorus 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so I can hear that high lead part. it sounds like when I'm practicing along to the stems. Now I'll show you me practicing along to the full mix, playing, you know, along to the entire band.
Chilling in my hand, turning up, real life. Need to quiet down my mind. Need some sun, some lime. Need some blue sky, blue water high. Ain't nowhere I'd rather be with you, baby, on this beach right here in the sun.
So yeah, that's basically it. That's the process. Listening, definitely the most important part. Then going through the full mix of each song, not in a great amount of detail, but just to familiarize myself with the chord progressions and the structure. And then step 3, going through the individual guitar stems to make sure I nail every single part that I'm asked to play. And then step 4 is going back to the full mix and playing what I learned when I went over the stems along to the full mix, right? Actually, there is a 5th step, which is playing the entire set in order from start to finish along to the show file, which is another thing that I got sent, which kind of made it easy for me to go into this gig with no rehearsal, right? Because I'm sure I said at the start of this video, and it's in the title of the video, but I flew in for this gig, did the sound check, and then we played the gig, right? There was no rehearsal whatsoever. So if you're wondering, how do you do that as someone that's playing with a band or an artist for the very first time? Well, a lot of these modern country acts, they play to tracks. In fact, not just modern country, but all styles of music do this nowadays, where you have, where the drummer has a laptop running Ableton, and they basically hit play on a track, and then in our in-ears, we're able to hear a click track and vocal cues that say things like verse 1 2 3 4, chorus 1 2 3 4, just to remind you of where you are in the song. And then there's also some additional things in there as well, like vocal harmonies or synth pads, you know, parts that are not played by the people on stage, right? But, you know, just beef up the sound and make it sound like the record, okay? So, you know, the final stage of learning these songs and getting prepared for a gig where you don't have a rehearsal is playing along to that show file. I'll just show you very quickly what that sounds like.
Interlude 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I've put that a bit forward. Okay, you can hear, like, there's no drums in the track, but there's some bass, some other backing tracks, vocal harmonies, a click track. So that show file, that has every single song in the exact order that we're going to play the set in. So that was the final stage of me learning this music, was just after I'd listened to it, gone through the guitar stems, played to the full mix on Spotify, ran everything along to the show file. And that was important actually, because there was a few songs in this set that had extended sections that were not in the tracks on Spotify, right? So it was very important that I went through that. But that was basically the process from start to finish. So now I'll show you some clips from the day of the gig, all the way from me packing up my guitars and getting to the airport, checking the guitars, through to doing the sound check and then playing the show itself. just to make sure that I'm going to be able to take this flight case with me and not get charged extra, I've weighed myself without the case and then again holding it. And yeah, it's well under the 50-pound weight limit. It was 42.5 pounds, or 41.5 actually. I think that was the correct number. So yeah, I'm good to go. Excuse the sound of my clothes drying. I'll give you a look inside the case. It's very well built. So we've got these latches. That's it. So this is the rig: Quad Cortex, Dunlop, mini volume pedal, and a mini Crybaby as well, because there's one song in the set that has some wah guitar parts in it. I made different presets for every single song, so I've got 19 presets for this gig, and of course I have arranged them all in the order that they're being played. So I've got the set list here, a couple of pages. And yeah, that's the order that we're playing them in, so I can just bank through them. I'll have this in gig mode. Come on, there we go. So I've got my different scenes per preset, and pro tip, if you've only got like 3 to 4 scenes on your presets, put them all on the bottom switches so that you don't have to reach higher with your foot. Seems like a small thing, but I feel like little changes to your rig that remove friction, it just helps the gig to go smoother, right? In addition, I also label all the scenes that I'm not using with 3 X's, right? Just to say, don't hit this switch, you know? That's another thing that helps. So all this stuff I'm gonna pack up now, and I will take it in a carry-on. This room is a mess. Got pedal train, which will take the quad and the volume pedal. Time to head to the airport. All right, this is me, guys. This is surprisingly light, and it's actually quite nice not having the weight of the guitars on my back in one of those mono dual gig bags, right? I woke up at 2 a.m. It's now just after 3. I've got my Uber coming to pick me up to take me to the airport. Yeah, I don't drive. I know that sounds crazy, especially to the Americans watching, but yeah, it is what it is. I just Uber everywhere. You know, what people spend on a car payment and fuel each month, I spend on Ubers. So yeah, it's not been as big of an issue as I thought it was going to be moving out here, honestly. But anyway, yeah, I'm off to the airport, and we'll get this checked in. And then it's off to Atlanta, short layover in Atlanta, and then on to Greenville, where we're playing the show. All right, made it to the airport. That was pretty easy. They have this new thing at Nashville Airport where Ubers are not allowed to drop people off at departures. So you get dropped off in the parking lot, and then you have to make your way over to departures, which is kind of annoying when you're carrying lots of gear with you, but it is what it is. Checked in the guitars without any issues. Just got through security, got the pedal train with me and everything else. Fortunately, it's very quiet in the airport this morning, so yeah, that was about as easy as it gets. Got about 35 minutes until the first flight boards. 2 flights this morning, one to Atlanta, one to Greenville. Might have said that already, but yeah, should be pretty easy. Only like a 40-minute layover in Atlanta, and of course the guitar case will go straight through to Greenville. So yeah, I'm excited now. I feel like I should be more tired than I am, given that I probably slept a total of 2 hours, but I'm excited. This is my first time doing a fly date since I moved to Nashville. What I mean by that is, you know, a gig where I'm getting flown into another state to play. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So I actually wasn't sure how long the flights were, and I just spoke to ChatGPT, and it told me Nashville to Atlanta is like 45 minutes. Super short flight. And then the second flight, Atlanta to Greenville, is only up to 30 minutes, apparently. So not a lot of travel time, which is nice. And that does give me just enough time to listen back to every single song. To be honest, I don't need to listen to the full set, but there's maybe just like one or two songs where I could benefit from listening back to the guitar parts that I recorded yesterday. But anyway, I'm headed to the gate now, and I will see you guys either in Atlanta or, well, probably more likely Greenville once we arrive and get to the venue and get set up. Thank you. Well, all right, quick update. So myself and the drummer Reagan, we were both on the same connecting flight from Atlanta through to Greenville very early this morning. So we got to the venue at like 10:30 this morning. We're just kind of chilling for the first hour or so until the rest of the crew and the band arrived on the bus. Yeah, we got in, loaded the gear very quickly, and had a good sound check. Things are sounding good. Excited to play. I'll take a quick moment to just run you through the rig that I'm using tonight. By the way, this case, I really like it. Super easy to carry around the airport, honestly. Fortunately, Nashville airport was very quiet this morning, so basically just rocked up, waited in line for a few minutes, checked the bag, went through security, got on my flight. I had a little bit of a panic when we got to the baggage claim because all of the bags came off and the thing was still going around and I wasn't seeing the guitar case anywhere. But then I just went around the corner and someone had like actually taken it out because it was quite big and just set it in the corner for me. So that was a relief. I almost thought I was going to have to run to Guitar Center and buy a Squire or something to get through the show, but fortunately not. And my plan is to stick my phone over here because this kind of acts as like a nice phone stand. So if I just position it this way during the show, then you'll get a good view of the band and the crowd. Got 3 hours until showtime. Don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably just chill in the green room, maybe get some food, and probably listen back to some of the guitar parts again just to make sure I'm like 100% solid before we start. you just saw some clips from the show on Friday night. It's Monday morning right now. I didn't film anything immediately after the gig because we were busy packing up and, you know, getting back to the hotel. And then I had a super early morning flight back to Nashville, 2 flights back to Nashville on Saturday. But overall, it was a great show. I had an absolute blast playing with Ryan and his band. I got on with everyone really well, both in the band and the crew. So I'm grateful to everyone for making me feel welcome on this gig and for trusting me to do a good job playing the music, especially given that we never met before, right? But guys, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I didn't really have a plan for this going in. I just kind of filmed random clips here and there. So I hope it was like somewhat insightful, getting to see how I prepare for a gig like this. One other thing I do want to mention that I forgot to talk about earlier was chord charts, right? I didn't write a single chord chart for this gig. And the reason is I got sent the files, the music, the guitar stems well in advance, like a month prior to the gig. So I chose not to write charts because in the past where I've learned, you know, a 25-minute set for an artist on a week's notice, I have relied on chord charts. Like I would listen to the track, and then every time I would sit down to practice the set, I would be reliant on following those chord charts, which I have found to be kind of a crutch in certain situations where I get on stage and, you know, I don't have my charts with me and I'm like, do I really know these songs without the charts, or was I only able to play them from start to finish if I had the chart in front of me? And fortunately, I've never messed up because I didn't have the charts, but it is something that, I don't know, it goes on in the back of my mind when I step on stage and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have the charts. So I didn't want to do that for this gig. I didn't do it for the last gig I did with Sasha at CMA Fest either. I had plenty of time to learn the material and internalize it. And honestly, after doing it both ways now, going into gigs, writing charts and not writing charts, I definitely prefer the latter, especially when I have enough time to really internalize the music. So yeah, I think that helped because I wasn't really thinking like, oh, what part is coming up next, you know, when we were on stage, which, you know, helps me to just get into the music more and enjoy myself on stage and not be thinking so much. So anyway, I'm gonna cut it here. Like I said, this video wasn't really planned. I don't really vlog that much. So if you like this, let me know. If you thought it was terrible and have suggestions for how I can make better vlogs, please also let me know. And yeah, I talked about the new course earlier, 80/20 Lead Guitar Mastery. If you want to join the waitlist for the full launch in September, you can sign up via the link in the description box. When you do that, you'll get access to some free lessons to hold you over until the full course goes live in September. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one.